Billie Eilish reported me to ICE and got me deported from the US.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
These people are always so much worse than you could possibly ever imagine. Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. Just wanted to quickly say a big thank you to everybody who watched my last video and left me a really lovely and supportive comment. I felt very nervous when I hit publish on that about the response that I would potentially get, but all of your responses were so beautiful, and it definitely made me feel a lot better and a lot less alone about this whole situation and many other things that had happened. So thank you, my little cherubs. Also, just a quick note before we get into this video, I am currently running a 20% off sale on my tea company, Lion's Tea Exchange, which I will link in the description box, for my summer flavors, so root beer, strawberry lemonade oolong, white peach, and mango black, as well as bourbon barrel chai and my apple cider teas, because I would like to move some inventory so that I can introduce some more flavors to all of you. So go to my website, it is linked in the description box. Go buy yourself a box of tea. The 20% off is applied at checkout. So once again, due to the doom and gloom of what is going on in the world at the moment, and also a little bit because of the doom and gloom of the last video that I made, I wanted to talk about something that genuinely made me laugh in this video, and not because it by itself is particularly funny, but because of the sheer stupidity of it all. At this point, I am sure the vast majority of you are familiar with the singer-songwriter Billie Eilish. Eilish, like many of her fellow celebrities, has made a number of very polarizing political statements over the years. She recently took aim at billionaires and started a weird feud with Elon Musk.
Love you all, but there's a few people in here that have a lot more money than me. And if you're a billionaire, why are you a billionaire? No hate, but yeah, give your money away, shorties. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
It will never stop being funny to me that these people think that billionaires probably have liquid billions in their bank accounts, because apparently nobody understands how assets or investments work. Also sort of funny when a millionaire like Billie Eilish takes a stab at billionaires, because she can't go after the millionaires in her orbit or take a stab at her own wealth, so there is that. Eilish also made comments in support of Kamala Harris during the 2024 election, and she's on and off commented on other social issues as well. But her newest series of comments happened a few weeks ago at the Grammys, and that is basically the origin point of our hilarious story. Many actors, actresses, and celebrities have taken these award shows recently as opportunities to make political statements. Almost all of them have said something about Minnesota and ICE, and probably some of them have said that we're living under a dictatorship, I imagine.
But the guy is a convicted felon or convicted rapist. He's a pedophile. He's the worst human being in the world. If we're relying on this guy's morality for the most powerful country in the world, then we're all in a lot of trouble. So this is for her. This is for the people in the United States who are terrorized and scared today. I know I'm one of them.
But during her acceptance speech, Billie Eilish also took aim at ICE, going the extra step and saying that nobody is illegal on stolen land. Okay.
No one is illegal on stolen land. And yeah, it's just really hard to know what to say and what to do right now. And I feel really hopeful in this room, and I feel like we just need to keep fighting and speaking up and protesting, and our voices really do matter, and the people matter. And
yes, very, very good try. But this is not how borders work, or land acquisition. I mean it when I say that nobody should be taking cues about politics from this baby person who makes repetitive music. Anyway, the reason that I bring you back to Eilish's comments at the Grammys is because they have set off a chain of hilarious, albeit alarming events that have culminated in Eilish apparently getting an Australian journalist refused entry to the US and sent back to Australia because he said if no one is illegal, illegal, then you won't mind me moving into your house over there, you know, Billy, old pal. And I will come back to the details of this absurd situation in a little bit, so just hold on. But I would first like to explain what happened in the immediate aftermath of Billie Eilish's speech. But actually, before we do that, I really quickly just want to tell you about my favorite sponsor on this channel, and that is Dreams Sleep Hot Chocolate, which is just so friggin' good. Pajama pants on, a great book acquired. There's only one thing missing from tonight's lineup, and I would say that is my Dream Sleep Hot Chocolate. It has been very well established on this channel that I have well and truly built Dream into my nighttime routine, and I'm not remotely mad about it. Sometimes I don't really feel like having a hot drink before bed because I live in Texas, that's self-explanatory, so I do opt for the Dream capsules, which I find are just as good as the drink. I take a couple of these and I am off to sleep well and truly. But tonight we are once again going to make the hot chocolate version. And it's very easy to make. Grab your mug, choose your milk, or water, I guess. In the microwave it goes, or on the stove. I made mine too hot, I can already tell. Put your Dream hot chocolate in the mug. Use your Dream frother to mix the concoction, and away you go. Dream is one of my favorite sponsors on this channel, and I can genuinely not say enough good things about them. I love this product because it's made with really great ingredients like L-theanine and magnesium and melatonin, although they do have melatonin-free options if you don't want melatonin. I drink this anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour before bed, and I like the fact that Dream gives me a really calm send-off to sleep. I stay asleep, and then I wake up without feeling disgusting and groggy. I wake straight up and I'm out of bed. If you are somebody who struggles to fall asleep and then stay asleep, I genuinely believe that Dream will be able to help you on that journey. And it also helps that it tastes really, really good. So my little love bugs, if you are finally ready to take this step into better sleep, then click the link in the description or go to shopbeam.com/SydneyW. And for a limited time, get up to 35% off when you use my code SydneyW. After her statements about stolen land, a Native American tribe called the Tongva, which I'm probably saying wrong, sorry about that. Anyway, they came forward and confirmed that Billie Eilish's $3 million Los Angeles home is on their ancestral territory. Of course they did. They basically said that celebrities should be more precise if they want to invoke Indigenous history for moral statements. The tribe went on to say that Eilish had not contacted them directly regarding her property, and they were displeased that she had not referenced their tribe by name when referring to the stolen land that her house is on. Bro, what is this timeline? On its own, this is genuinely hilarious to me because, one, what a way to get called out, but number two, it's like you virtue signal for a group of people who in turn call you out for said virtue signaling because you're not doing it correctly. Sometimes I really love modernity. But shortly after this statement was released, a California law firm reached out to the tribe and offered to help evict Billie Eilish from her home, given that she acknowledged that the land is stolen and therefore probably fair game. Or something. Because of course they did. Now, to be clear, the law firm owner did follow up here saying that his offer was in fact tongue-in-cheek, but he did also say that Eilish's admission that she lives on stolen land gives the tribe a rightful action for possession as the true owners of the property. He also said in another interview that it's incredibly hypocritical of Hollywood elites to preach from their gated and guarded property. Which is extremely true, and all of this rolls us around to where we are now. And I find all of this so funny because it is so reminiscent of a situation that I was in back in 2019. My OG community members and subscribers will remember this, but those of you who are new do not know the Sydney law. But do you guys remember when I got detained and interrogated by the FBI because of Jim Jeffries? Well, an extremely similar situation unfolded for a fellow Australian journalist called Drew Pavlou, whose name I might be saying wrong, sorry if I am. And look, Drew, Honestly, while this is very funny, and I'm very glad that you have found this humorous yourself, I don't know what you expected here. You were sort of asking for this outcome, my guy. Essentially, after Eilish's comments, Pavlou tweeted that he had decided he was going to move into Billie Eilish's multi-million-dollar Malibu beachfront mansion because no human being is illegal on stolen land. Thank you, Billie, for your generosity.
Big news, everybody. I've decided today to move into Billie Eilish's $6 million Malibu beachside mansion. She announced today at the Grammys that no human being is illegal on stolen land.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
So I'm going to be making the trip to America. I'm packing my bags right away, and I'm looking forward to just taking possession of her $6 million Malibu mansion. No human being is illegal. So I want to thank everybody who's believed in me on this journey. I really can't wait to move in. It's now my house. I want to thank Billie Eilish as well for her generosity.
He followed up by saying he'll actually do it if someone shouts his ticket to the United States, which led to him setting up a GoFundMe, which was deleted by the platform. And then he set up a Give Send Go, and he raised just under $6,000 Australian, which I don't know what that is in USD. Sorry, I'm not going to do the conversion. I am not a calculator. Interestingly, Pavlou wasn't even the first person to do this. A GB News reporter called Ben Leo reportedly went to the front of Eilish's compound to show that nobody is illegal on stolen land. Like, she likes to remind us.
Let us in, please, Billie. We are here because this is stolen land, Billie, and we think we should be given access to your quite lovely $3 million mansion. Here we go. Oh, nice little place. Bins are out. It's bin collection day. First of all, isn't that ironic? Massive gates keeping people out. I thought Billie didn't believe in borders. Well, according to the driveway, Billie does believe in borders. She believes in massive gates keeping people out. Couple of cameras up there as well.
This is unironically how you get tased and beaten by giant former military men. Now, because I read your comments, I do feel like I can gauge what most of you are going to feel about this GB News segment, and I'm sure a portion of you are going to be like, yes, this is so funny, suck it, Billie Eilish, you're a giant hypocrite. And then I know that some of you are going to be like, yeah, this is funny, I can see the humor in this, but ultimately actually going to her home probably takes this too far. And frankly, I can very much see that perspective. I don't know, at least she has a big old security fence to keep everybody else out. But maybe, and I'm just spitballing here, maybe all of this drama and this happening is kind of what set the stage for what happened to Pavlou, you know, in the last few days. Because, my dear baby birds, after a little bit of silence, we finally got these series of tweets. Billie Eilish got me deported from the US. I spent 30 hours in custody at LAX trying to explain to the agents that my SHIT posts about moving into her mansion on stolen land were just a joke. Her lawyers seem to have actually compiled a dossier on me because the agents were asking me about my entire history as an activist, opposed to the Chinese government, whether I had ever plotted to assassinate Chinese Communist Party officials. Drew, what are you getting yourself into, guy? It was legitimately insane. I suffered for my art as an online SHIT poster. I was victimized and martyred by Billie Eilish. Oh, you guys do not understand the flashbacks that this is giving me. Seriously.
Billie Eilish reported me to ICE and got me deported from the US. Honestly, I can't even be really mad because it's kind of funny. But basically, I was joking online that I was going to fly to America and move into her mansion. It's obviously a joke. It's obviously a meme. And I get stopped by DHS and held for like 30 hours. Literally 30 hours. They're asking me, how do you know Billie Eilish? Do you intend to trespass? No, of course not, man. It's a joke. It was like a meme that I came up with on Instagram. And I get held for 30 hours and deported. I get basically escorted onto a plane by armed guards, sent back to Australia. And I think it's actually amazing performance art. As a joke, I managed to get Billie Eilish, Hollywood celebrities, left-wingers, liberals, to agree with ICE, to agree with border control. They suddenly support deportations because they don't like my memes. They don't like me as a person. Who else takes jokes this far? That I was able to actually sit in a cell for 30 hours and endure that pain just to prove that Billie Eilish is a hypocrite. And I guess at the end of the day, I'm just a bad guy.
Oh, I get the reference. Do you guys get the reference? It's one of her song titles. The song about being a bad guy that got radio bashed for a while there. So ultimately, it seems that border security at LAX airport got Drew Pavlou on a technicality as far as his visa went. I imagine that he came in on one of the visa waivers. What are they called? Estes? Visa waiver Esther thing. Anyway, I feel like he probably came into the country on a tourism visa, and they apparently told him that he needed a business visa because he was scheduled to be on a very big right-wing creator show on February 19th. So they put him back on a flight and sent him home. And I just have to imagine, having done the Australia to America flight 9 billion times, how utterly miserable this would be, because you do 15 hours minimum. Yeah, depending on if you do stopovers and things, you do 15 hours in the air getting to LAX, and then he had 30 hours reportedly in DHS custody, or in, border patrol custody, and then had another 15-hour flight home. That is miserable. On February 17, 2026 as well, DHS responded to all of this and said that the claims about Billie Eilish having had a hand in this are false. Honestly, I am 95% sure that this is a lie. For me, what was so crazy reading all of Drew Pavlou's tweets and the way that all this played out, it just reminds me so much of what happened to me in 2019 along with my friend Avi. Again, I'm not sure how many of you remember this, but I'm gonna remind you what happened because it was traumatizing, and I cried at the airport for like hours. So like I mentioned, long story short, my friend Avi did an interview with a fellow Australian who is a comedian whose name is Jim Jeffries. Jeffries cut up the interview deceptively, not knowing that Avi had covertly filmed the whole thing himself, anticipating that Jeffries would do something like this. Avi then went ahead and published the actual interview online with his commentary. Avi was understandably quite upset with being edited in such a way, and so he was saying online that he was going to fly to the United States and crash one of Jim Jeffries' shows and basically confront him about why he did what he did, because Jim Jeffries worked for what are they called? Comedy Central, Viacom at the time. And so this was kind of the plan that was taking shape. And he said to me, do you want to come with me? And I was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. We landed at LAX, and then we immediately both got detained and separated. They took him this way and they took me this way. And then I got interrogated by 2 FBI officials with a little badge and everything, and they were asking me these crazy questions about if I was going to get weapons, if I planned on hurting Jim Jeffries. Just like a weird series of questions around Jim Jeffries and violence, and obviously the answer to all those questions was no. I am not a violent person. I would not do something like that. And I think that similar to Drew Pavlou's experience, I think that the instruction in those cases is to find anything at all to send the person in question back to where they came from. So in Drew's case, it's saying, oh, you're here on the wrong visa. In Avi's case, they found that he'd answered a question incorrectly, I think, on his visa. And so they were like, no, we're going to deny you entry and send you back. But for me, they did not know that I was a citizen, so they could not do anything to me. So they released me into LAX. And I was so traumatic. I cried in the lobby of LAX airport. So again, it does in fact look like people can be illegal on stolen land. Like in Avi's case, I was fine. But the fact that DHS denies the reality of what they are doing is just mental, because why would they be asking some random guy about Billie Eilish and have a whole dossier on him if somebody hadn't called in a tip or asked them to investigate this person? And again, that's the same thing with what happened to Avi and me. Why are you stopping 2 Australians who don't have any reason to be stopped? You're stopping us to question us about a specific person and specific things that you think we might be doing. And, in our case, we found out that the head of Viacom, who employed Jim Jeffries, was, I think, some member of the FBI at some point. I just don't really understand the point of lying about this type of thing, because people are not stupid. We aren't very capable of putting 2 and 2 together. Anyway, the funniest part about this Billie Eilish story, to me at least, is that when push comes to shove, this whole nobody is illegal on stolen land thing completely falls in a heap. Billie Eilish's team, or maybe even she did this herself, we don't know, made sure that immigration restrictions were enforced on Pavlou because he made comments about coming to her house that resides on the aforementioned stolen land. He was detained and questioned because he was joking about doing to her what she once done to this country as a whole. Except that in like this case, Drew wasn't illegal. He had papers and had a visa. So, maybe if he just hopped across the southern border, she wouldn't have minded so much. This is sincerely one of my biggest problems with leftist celebrities and all of their virtue signaling. Virtue. Why did I just say it like that? Virtue. Sounds wrong. It is actually okay to admit that borders matter, and gates matter, and your gated communities matter, and feeling safe in your own environment really matters. All of these are things that Billie Eilish and her team made sure were enforced because they matter not just to her, but to the vast majority of us. And when push came to shove, she made sure that a foreign invader could not come into her country, and more specifically and more importantly, could not cross the borders around her own home, and made sure that he was not allowed anywhere near where she lives. And rightly so. The amusing thing here is that I feel like most of us would be like, yeah, that's totally understandable. Like, you don't know who this person is, you don't know what this person has planned, and obviously I don't think that Drew had anything planned. I really do think that he was just mucking around, but she doesn't know that, and she doesn't know the intention that he has when he's talking about doing this. And so the amusing thing is that I think a lot of moderates and people on the right see this kind of behavior and say this is a rational response to someone saying they're going to come to your house. Now, why you don't apply that to the entirety of this nation is confusing and stupid. Like, if we are being honest here, it is madness that this type of a thing cannot be expanded to include national borders and territory that is in fact the United States, and keeping people out who have not come here legally. These things matter, and they have always mattered, and it's why a huge portion of us currently support the unfortunateness, I guess, of mass deportations and the complete shutdown of all of America's borders. And in a weird way, I am kind of glad that Drew went ahead and did this because, as he points out, it really does demonstrate that depending on how you approach a social issue like this, you can swing progressive types around to supporting things that ordinarily they would say are, bigoted and racist and xenophobic and what have you. Billie Eilish's hypocrisy here is so obvious that even Elon Musk tweeted about it, I guess as part of their ongoing feud. She takes stabs at him and makes fun of him for being a millionaire and insults him, and he takes stabs back. I don't know. Anyway, the celebrity posturing here gets incredibly annoying because it adds unnecessary noise to issues that are already very complex. And while there are some people who really do mean it when they say that we should have wide open borders, Billie Eilish is so clearly not one of these people. So why make these comments at all? Apparently borders do matter when it is her gated compound being invaded. Security matters when it's her privacy and property on the line. And the hypocrisy probably wouldn't bother me so much if they were just more upfront about the double standards that they have. But going ahead and preaching no borders, no walls, no enforcement on a national level, while building a gate, a giant gate around your own home and making sure it is enforced, and going to the extent of getting someone refused entry to the country, that is something I can't deal with. That is hypocrisy that just exceeds anything that I can emotionally handle. These people even have armed guards at their own award shows, people designed to keep other people out. Everything they do is saturated with keeping the vast majority of people away from them. But as soon as this applies to the nation as a whole, it is wrong. If nobody is illegal on stolen land, then why did Billie Eilish make damn sure that one guy stayed illegal on hers? And I can answer that question. Because deep down, Billie Eilish and her ilk, other progressives, other celebrities, inherently know that not only property rights, but sovereign borders and maintaining those borders actually really matters. It's just everyone else's borders and everyone else's safety that she's willing to sacrifice for a whole bunch of applause. So in the end, while I do find this situation very funny, I am also glad that somebody was prepared to put themselves in the line of fire, so to speak, in order to demonstrate just how hypocritical people like Billie Eilish, and specifically Billie Eilish, actually is and actually are. These people are really good at talking and patting each other on the back for their incredibly progressive positions, but in actuality, they very much align with how you and I think, but only when it applies to their safety and their property and their borders. Now, on that very happy and pleasant note, and before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder to check out Beam using the link in the description. I freaking love this stuff. I am not joking. I take it most nights because it very much helps me sleep. And so if you are somebody who does struggle to get to sleep or stay asleep, or maybe you just want a little bit of help, absolutely check them out. I genuinely promise, hand on heart, that you won't regret it. Now I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? Do you think this situation is as funny as I think it is? Do you think that it's actually really unfortunate and what happened to Drew just sucks? Maybe you think both, that it sucks and it's funny. Do you think that it really does go to illustrate just how hypocritical these celebrities, and more specifically Billie Eilish, is? Do you think that this was sort of always going to be the case, that they would always take action like this against somebody who was even making jokes like this on the internet? Do you think that it's right? Do you think that it's wrong? What do you make of the response from DHS? Do you think that they're lying? Do you think they're telling the truth? Who would have tipped them off if they are telling the truth? And what you generally make of this issue overall. As always, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full ride. If you are new here and you're not subscribed already and you would like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel, as well as leaving this video a like and a comment, because I do read the majority of them and I like hearing your feedback. I really do read your comments. I don't know why people don't believe me. Sometimes I actually even respond to your comments from my little alt account, which is Sydney Watson Music. People are like, is this really you? Yes, it's really me. But the Telegram channels that apparently respond to you, not Telegram channels, the people who are pretending to, be me, who tell you to go to Telegram channels, that's not me. I don't ask you for money or anything weird like that. On that note though, as I always say, I hope you stay safe and well and make lots of good choices, kids. And I will see your wonderful little schmoodle faces in the next video.